Hello, these are my sketchbooks from the Csssa 2025 animation program. So, yeah, there's 3 of them. Here's the first. There's Yuri on the cover, as you can see. We were graded on these sketchbooks, so that's what the sticky notes you'll see throughout are. Yeah, I kind of came into the program sort of feeling more art blocked. I'm not, I think not just, creatively blocked, but also just, I had opinions about how my observationals looked, kind of throughout the start of this, especially because they were graded. I think that probably didn't make it better, but honestly, I think it was actually a really, really good program to get out of art block, so that was cool. There's a couple rules for the sketchbooks that they give us. You're meant to fill one out by the end of the month, though technically they only give us 3 weeks to do it. One of the rules is no fan art and no OCs that you've previously designed before Csssa. The other rules are nobody else can draw in your sketchbook besides you, and also that you have to take notes, which is why you'll see a lot of writing in here. From kind of the workshops and then also the animation history class that we had. But yeah, so far it's just a lot of observationals. It's going to be just mostly observationals for, I think, all 3 of these sketchbooks. A lot are of my friends or classmates or teachers during the program. So that the bulldog is because my friends and I were trying ramen, and turns out some of us don't have enough of a spice tolerance to eat it, so that's pretty funny. There's an observational from the cafe, which has pretty mid food, but it's okay, whatever. There's also a lot of sketches of people waiting in the hallway before they let us into class, because they don't let us into class until very last moment. Here are some notes from Life Drawing, just about line of action. That's the model. And then these are Soviet cartoons from one of the workshops that the TAs held, which was very cool. You should check out more Soviet cartoons because they're very inspiring. We had a guest artist called Tommy Perez, who does paper stuff, kind of advertisement based, come talk to us, which was pretty awesome. His work is also very cool. T-Rez, I think. Here are more doodles from when we were screening the Soviet cartoons. Something else that they told us was that they wanted us to experiment with mediums, so watercolor, pen, pencil, marker, etc. Here are some more notes and my friend. You can see Tommy Perez's signature also. And then here's an observational I did in the morning, kind of just of the trees in front of the dorm hall. And they had us do a mini storyboarding exercise, I guess, with three boards. I guess it's more of a comic. I figured out that so we were storyboarding for our final film, and I kind of figured out that I need to board very loosely to sort of write out the story. I need to draw to write it. I don't know if that makes sense. So these are very messy. Yeah, just more classmates. That's marker and they gave us water brushes, so I just went over with a water brush after. These are notes from animation history, and that's my teacher. And then on the other side, there we go, is the rest of my classmates sort of in the class. And on the bottom you'll see line of action animals, just because I'm a fan. But yeah. Here are some of the dance students. We went to go draw them in our free time after class. So shout out to them for letting us just sit there quietly, being weird drawing them. They're actually very good. It was very cool to see them do it. Yeah. That's one of our models with pastel. I'm not super happy with that, but whatever. It's okay. Make mistakes. Learn. Here's another observational done with the watercolors they gave us, which were glittery and neon. I had opinions about that, but whatever, I guess. Here's like a blind contour tree in the parking lot. They had a lecture about framing your figures properly so the props are like within your drawing as well. Sorry if there's background noise. And here are two of my friends at lunch. Love them. Yeah, this is watercolor or marker and water again. Here is my teacher and a friend. Love you, Chang. And then here's another observation of people in class. My friend group liked to sit at the side table, but also I figured out that you need to go over yellow Poscas again if you're drawing on something else that's dark, because they don't show up at all. They were kind of explaining like different shot types. So yeah. And then it's one of my friends. I feel like I butchered a lot of their faces in here, but whatever. That's some blind contour of my teachers while we were waiting in line for one of the guest artists' signatures. And then, turns out you're not supposed to rip out pages, but whatever, I taped it back in. But I did this tree, and I used the glittery watercolors they give us to do the light on the tree. But that was one of our assignments, and then I figured out that you're not supposed to do it in color, so I redid it later. Here's another one of our guest speakers, Ari Castleton. He showed us some very cool NDA stuff, and his signature is in the sketchbook of the observational, which I thought was very cute. You're also, I said we're not supposed to do fan art, but I figured out that if you use your stuffed animal, it doesn't count. So there's Oshawott, my goat, my absolute goat, on top of my friend's head. Yeah, I actually have him right here, so that's him. My Oshawott stuffed animal. He's very small. He's a little bit dirty also. I drew people in line while we were waiting to get signatures from Ari Castleton, and then I also drew the TAs and the faculty who are sitting there basically supervising. Here's some blind contour and a portrait of my friend. And then they had this thing called Art Advocacy Day where they invited this very cool guy as part of the Chicano movement. So that was his signature and him. And here's some more sketches kind of from the auditorium. From the auditorium and the workshops that day. My roomies and I had like a little ramen party. So I drew them while we were doing that. And then here's a tree observational that I did with like some hatching and some colored like felt tip pens. It's like next to one of the buildings called the Wild Beast on campus, but you can see my friend there at the bottom. She's very small. And then they also gave us prompts if you got stuck. I honestly wasn't stuck, but I had fun kind of just doing like a little meet the artist and some meet the friends, I guess. So yeah. And then I did an hourly comic. I did multiple, I think, but I don't know if they're in the sketchbooks. This one was from a Sunday. So Sundays we had field trips, and then those are all the people from animation who went with me. Yep, very cool, very cool. And I don't know if you can read it. It's kind of faint, but yeah, it just kind of talks about what I did that day. There's a pencil observational I didn't like. You were only kind of allowed to bring pencils to the Getty, so that black pen one in the corner is actually made with eyeliner. My friend actually snuck in markers, so that's why there's some plants there also. And then I drew my friend but freaky on a gum wrapper. They did not like that, but I thought it was funny, so whatever. Here's some line of action animals that I did with my friend. These are like a minute to like 10 seconds. You'll see them throughout the sketchbook actually, like earlier on. Here's life drawing assignment 1, which was to do a tree. This is the one I redid in grayscale, and then they also had us do a water cup. And then these are more notes. Yep. You're not supposed to have the whole page with notes, but I kind of got, I don't know, like I got note pilled, I guess. Here are my friend's shoes plus my shoe. And then my friend's, I don't like that one in the corner. And then this is one of my favorite pages. It's in the thumbnail, but I did like a collage of my cat because I was like, I'd gaff. But turns out they like it when you don't gaff, because it's experimental. So yeah, I did this observational. I don't really like it. I think I could have spent more time on the faces and like the structure and everything. But I stole my friend's Poscas for the last page to kind of just doodle some random shit plus me. This is my final grade because they do, the one earlier was the halfway point, and they do one 3 weeks in, which is like supposed to be like the end checkpoint. But here's sketchbook number 2. I got a lot lazier with the cover for this one, so yeah, but yeah, again, part 2. And they had us do a writing exercise basically, with like, we all had the same prompt. It was all to show like we think differently, but yeah, we also, this was VizDev week, so they had us do like thumbnails for backgrounds in our final film. Yeah, here are some of the TAs and just some doodles. This one's a lot like, this one has more blank space, I think, than the other sketchbook. TAs and my teacher again, and more thumbnails. Yeah, I thought the blanker page, I thought the conversation was funny, so that's why it's left alone. We had a plein air assignment. Yeah, that was the page with the gray thumbnails. I'm not very partial to this page. I think the color is wonky as freak. I like this observational. These are my classmates and my TA, one of my TAs. And then these are some like character designs. I think I'm not very confident in my character designs yet, but I'm just gonna practice more and then it'll work out eventually. There's the paper puppet workshop. That was really fun. I think I make one later on in here. We have this thing called faculty show where they like, the faculty and the TAs introduce what they do and like films they've worked on and stuff. It's very cool. All of the faculty are goated. Big fan. Here's my first attempt at the plein air painting, because we went from grayscale to color. Those are silhouettes of all the teachers and TAs. I didn't finish that page, but whatever. Here I stole my friend's Poscas again to do that. And then this is a tree in the parking lot next to the dorms. And then I stole my friend's Poscas to do it again. Oh yeah, that's a paper puppet, but I'll get to that. This is just pen, and I went over with a water brush, which I like. I think it looks cool. This is a Ferrero Rocher wrapper, because they told us like collage was experimental and they wanted to see a lot of that, so I just put that in. But that's my cat puppet. It's like playing with like the foil. You can see the pins on the back, which is kind of the downside. But this is what I learned from Reels, is that spread is what that's spread about. That's my roommate's desk, and then the view from the dorms again. I was gonna make this into a collage, and then I never did. It's just kind of like a drawing of the vending machine. That's not very good. That was the cars around campus, and then these are just hands and feet. That actually might be my own foot. I might have just like posed myself with it. That sounds like so freaky. Classmates and some line of action again, and then a guest speaker also, and just notes from what he was talking about. He's a background artist, I believe. This is one of my favorite spreads. I broke it earlier when I was flipping through it, again, reminiscing. But I made this with kind of the berries and the leaves and the sticks from the plant or the tree. It's very abstract, but I thought it was a lot of fun. I was very inspired by my friend Chang, who I mentioned earlier. Very cool. I think miso.mackerel on Instagram. And then Gabriella Corio from Cat's Eye, my faves. But yeah, I think it's just very confusing because it's like 2 different things on the fold out. Oh, you can see I drew the supplies I used on that flap. But yeah. And then this is just some collage from the Bobo place. And then I drew like bugs over it with my friend's Poscas again. Sorry, Issa. I probably shouldn't have stolen them that many times. And then my friend was dyeing my hair. Same friend. So I drew the desk while it was happening because I'm not supposed to move, apparently. Hands and feet. Yep. And then my friend, Larissa, who lives in the middle of nowhere. Miss her. Oh, that was foil from when I was actually getting my hair dyed. And then This is like the more experimental page. Somebody gave out string, so I just made like a ugly like little bird puppet with it. And then I used a sticker sheet, and then on each layer I like added more details, like background, middle ground, foreground, you know what I mean? Yeah, very experimental. And then that's Goomba, who's puppeting the bird. Goomba, the weird cat. That's a tree from my friend's dorm's like view, I guess. And then these are some trees by the pool there, that I just thought looked very nice. I used more foil for my friend when he was getting his hair dyed, like I drew him. And then I did some figure drawing online from Weibo with my other friend while we were watching my friend get his hair dyed. But yeah, these are the figure drawings. You can tell I just tried to fill space with like the blue in the background. That's another plant by the pool. And that was my friend and I while we were in the laundry room waiting for our laundry to get done. And there's this observational that I also put in the thumbnail because I think this one is cool. But I kind of messed it up towards the end. Whatever. More Goomba. I did like a worm's eye view observational. It's not very clear because I just kind of forgot where the lines were going. And then here's this comic about how my hip was hurting really bad. And then those are some plushies, or all the plushies that I brought, not including the mini Oshawott. Yeah. And then this is the last page. I did it with the watercolors they gave us again, which were glittery and neon. Don't know who chose them, but you know what? That's okay. Whatever. Yeah, that's the end of sketchbook number 2. Very cool. Sketchbook number 3. This one I did not finish because it was the same time as production week for our final film. And I was like, I have my priorities. Whatever. It doesn't matter to me anymore. And I think I grinded a little bit, but I didn't really have to. So those are my friends. These are some mermaids I did with my friend's Poscas again. And then that's one of my TAs on the side, which I like. I think it's very like angular. I like the straight lines I tried there. This is one of my TAs giving a demo during life drawing. He's very cool, big fan. And then this is the model. That TA, I like, during faculty show, he was showing his films, and I was like, I've watched these before. Like, I felt like a sweat. Here's another one of my TAs, very cool. And then another one of my TAs, also very cool. I'm a big fan of my TAs. Very, very awesome. And then this is one of the teachers, which I don't really like that page because I just feel like I could have drawn her better, but whatever. And then another one of my TAs. This is the one that I watched films of. Though to be fair, I've watched films from the other ones as well, so I don't know why I felt like a sweat specifically for that. Here's like an angsty little comic that I was like venting in. Oh, I bought water-soluble graphite, so I drew my teacher during class with that. And then I just glued a bunch of wrappers in for this. And I put some of the alumni's like trading cards in from Alumni Day. We do a thing where we make like business trading cards, I guess, with like info on them, and then we just trade them with each other. It's very cute. I have a bunch in a Pokemon binder at home. And then this is another guest artist. This is Kat Kosmala, who's a teacher at CalArts for 2D animation. And that was kind of in the auditorium while she was talking. Yep. Oh, she signed there. You can't see. It's very faint because I gave her a shitty marker. Here are some of my classmates in the auditorium while she was speaking. And then this is the other Oshawott plush I brought. I just drew it from different angles. This was during the After Effects lecture that one of my teachers was giving. I drew them plus the TAs. And then there's just a bunch of notes. I don't like that page. This is my TAs. Again, I love them. The little holes are from the direct on film workshop that they did, which was pretty awesome. I like that a lot. These are some alumni signatures. All very cool people, big fans. We went to watch Giselle for one of the field trips, so that's what this is. And then these are more signatures. And I had Jamie, one of the TAs, draw me, and then I drew Jamie. And then these are all my Pookies. I miss them all so much. They all live far from me. And then these are Or I guess some of them don't, but whatever. These are all wrappers. I had coins in 2 of them, the miso and the mozz wrapper, and then I just never, like, I guess they fell out or something. More collage, and then I drew my friends with my foot on call the other day. And then I also drew my own foot. Very meta. But that's them. And then that's kind of the end-ish of Sketchbook 3, or at least what I did at Cssa, plus a little bit outside of it. And then here's my bonus that I also drew in during Cssa. This is my personal. That's why you see me holding the note card over my personal information, because I don't want to dox myself. Here's my TAs and some people in class. The stuff on the right was drawn by my friends. But yeah, those are my classmates. This is one of my TAs talking about college and beyond. And then the one on the right, again, was done by my friend. This spread is my TAs. You can tell I love them very much. Everything except for the zine and the wrappers on this page were by my other friend. And that's just my TAs and the zine that they had us do, very, like, impromptu. Can you say that? I don't know. But yeah. Thanks for watching.